Oh shit. Shit. I would do a big no. Yeah. Hello. Alphario here. Just a second. Let me check if everything's recording properly. Okay, it does seem so. So yeah, today we are going. Sorry. Yeah, today is a special day. Not only because I am doing something I didn't ever expect myself to do, so the reaction video, but also instead of my inherent cup of tea, I poured myself a drink. Yeah, because I have thought that why not? Why not? So I have here Jim Beam with cola. Yeah, I'm a person who drinks whiskey with cola, but don't worry, only bourbons and cheap whiskey. Don't worry, the high quality Scottish is really deeply in my heart and definitely not deeply in my wallet. Oh, and I would do a big no again, because I switched into my headphones, but I didn't switch to the audio on my PC, so it would be really loud. And wait, I'm on which one? Okay, here the right. OBS, don't troll me, you little crap. Okay, OBS, you good, buddy? Yeah, that seems so.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs, and one must...
Yeah, okay. Don't worry, I haven't actually heard anything what was said in the video. I was focused on looking at my phone, so everything's recording properly. Yeah, so today we are gonna do a reaction video to Bricky's what is Warhammer 40k, the timeline of 40k lore, and I'm pretty surprised here, because it takes only 30 minutes. I mean, I don't wanna brag or something, but Warhammer lore is really fucking dense. Like, there are tons of books, of comics, of games, etc. So when you actually look at this, 30 minutes means both long and quite short. But yeah, I haven't seen this video before, so there's gonna be a lot of things surprising me as well. But okay, I don't think there's anything more to say, so yeah, let's proceed.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women.
Oh wait, do I have? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I prefer when I'm by myself at home. I prefer to watching 2x speed. So yeah.
Most size of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs.
Hell yeah! Bricky is the MILF mama lover. We know this dude. We accept this dude. He is one of us.
And one must know what those abs taste like.
Yo, Bricky. That sounds like a Slanetti. Are you Slanetti? Don't fall from the Emperor's way. ABS is...
My gamer subs flavor is...
Okay, there is a... but okay, since we are doing a reaction video, I guess...
Here, Sweet Six Pack has arrived. A delicious and refreshing cherry pineapple blend. Play the sound.
Oh, so it's like... Is it
Yes, my Bricky's official gamer subs flavor is here. Sweet Six Pack, not only in regular energy mode, but also in caffeine free. The cherry pineapple flavor is not the kind of flavor that just smacks you in the face. Like it is light, it is refreshing, and it's one of those things where you sip it and you go,
Anyway, I
Not
don't care.
bad.
I
And next thing you
expect
know,
for the-
you are having your 4th refill the same day. And it is available now.
Yeah,
Link
I guess
in the
for the
description. Use
ingredients, of
code
course.
Bricky for 10% off your entire order. Not just for this, but for everything you buy. And I'm not dumb. If you buy any of these tubs, regular, caffeine-free of my sweet 6-pack flavor, you will get a Muscle Girl 32-ounce shaker completely for free. There are only a couple thousand of those shakers, so get it while supplies lasts. I cannot believe we finally have this, but I told everyone, like, once you find out the flavor, you'll be like, yeah, that tracks, and damn straight does it track. Sweet 6-pack available now. Code Bricky, link in the description.
Yeah. Yeah. The link to the original video is, of course, the video I'm showing you is in the description, and in his description you can check his merch. Okay, I guess now we are getting to the point. Yeah, I think so.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
Okay, so either he means the end of golden age of humanity and the age of strife, or the end of Great Crusade and the thing we have now.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed...
Okay, now this is a proper video. Sorry for that break. Yeah, he dates back to the 60 million years ago, so yeah, to the very basics of the universe. So so yeah, the war in heaven, the dawn of Necrons, etc. The arrival of Curtains. Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty proper.
aliens. And these aliens lived short,
Yeah, we have the Necron tier here, who later become the Necrons, but I guess I'm spoiling them.
painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens
Is that a remark to current state?
the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power. Beings with the ability to create life.
You mean these are the old ones? Okay, so when you think about this, the old ones, so the beings that created both Krorks, who degraded into orcs, and the Eldaris would look kinda different. I mean, they created whole Immaterium stuff, the warp, etc. And oh, okay. That's surprising, actually.
The old ones of the galaxy. They
didn't see
asked these
that
old
picture
ones for
before.
help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing.
Pretty
They
old ones.
declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not
yeah,
like
that's correct.
you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly,
Simply the warp.
we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment,
Yeah, because you have to know, the warp currently and what it was in the beginning are two completely different things. Like, firstly, the warp was created by the old ones to simply become another step of the evolution. Like, they would exist in the warp, they would travel through the warp, so they would be able to get to the other part of the galaxy in a moment. They would be they would give up their mortal forms, so they would simply stay as how do you say it, ascended immortal beings. And after they were gone, the warp has lost its governors, the ones who took care of it, who cleaned the shit there, and yeah, it became what is now, so basically a chaos realm.
The warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul. Psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie.
Yeah, it's just that if that pirate ship don't have the Galar field, you're gonna end up pretty wicked demonic mess.
Jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long.
It's just that if you enter warp on the day 1, it doesn't mean you leave it on the day 2. Sometimes you leave it on the day 1000, on the -1000. So yeah, the warp is a tricky thing where the physical laws literally doesn't apply, and time and place you end up may be completely different than what you may have been expecting.
On your boat could drive a man mad, and there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder.
Yeah, here is a tricky thing. Don't get mistaken. He means there are 3 chaos gods because in the beginning, more or less, they were only 3. The Khorne, Nurgle, and Siege, and Slaanesh is born way later. Like, its birth ends the golden age of humanity, basically. So, yeah, it's a way older history, so don't be mistaken here.
Murder and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name.
Reaction video is not only to just simply watch a video, but also to add something from yourself. Yeah. So I'm trying to do this with the little of experience I have.
God of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they...
Oh yeah. Catan are beaches. Like, they are the reason we have the Warhammer 40k now. Why the old ones are gone, why the Necron there became Necrons, and... Oh yeah, if you think that Tyranids are bad, oh hell, watch the curtains.
Eat stars.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods.
Yeah. It is basically the guy with a suitcase and a suit visits you at your house and speaks to you. Do you want to see our products? It will be benefit to your common day life. And yeah, basically these are curtains, but 1,000 times more. And you don't want to trust the Chaos Gods, but you better trust the Chaos Gods instead of curtains. And Necronter didn't know that before then, so yeah.
Gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's gonna talk about this or not, but just in case I'm saying, basically, Curtains offer the Necrontyrs technology, etc. to, how to say it, to transfer their souls, their minds into immortal bodies. So they taught them how to create the immortal steel bodies we see currently in the Warhammer 40k, like the Necrons. But instead of granting what they have promised, Curtains feeded on their souls because I don't remember quite perfectly this, but they're saying that old ones are actually the first ones who found the curtains while traveling through the deep space, like outside of the Milky Way galaxy. And they tried to talk to them to resonate with them, but curtains basically were like, I'm not sure if this is a correct word, nebulae? Basically, big clouds of energy that would simply devour energy of the stars, of the souls, of etc., and feed on them and thrive and fly through the space. So basically, tyrannies but with the souls. Yeah, and they told the Necrontyr that they are gonna teach them how to become immortal. But when the Necrontyr did what they had to do, they created the bodies, they created all the stuff needed for that transfusion. Kernas actually tricked them, so during the process they stole most of the souls of the Necrons and devoured them to feed on them, to also create the physical army of loyal, extremely hazardous robots as Necrons. And at some point, the Necrons. Okay, I'm gonna keep telling about Necrons because from this point on, there is only Necrons. But at some point, Necrons became aware of what's happening. They understood that Curtains tricked them, and they opposed them. So that transfusion and voring stuff stopped, but they were already far too gone, and they become the robots we know now, where only a few actually are sentient, like only a few of them know what they are, what they became, and what they were before, and they can think. Most of the Necrons we see on the field are actually simply robots with AI that will proceed with any order given. Some of them are more sentient, some of them are less sentient, but basically it's just robots. And I hope he's not gonna talk about this because I would spend all this time talking for nothing.
And turn them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls. But we can count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the
Yeah, there is also these things, like old ones fighting the Curtains, but also Curtains fighting Curtains, like Chaos Gods fighting Chaos Gods. Warhammer is basically about everyone fights each other.
Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal.
I'm not deep inside the Necrons lore yet to know exactly what is this all about, but what I can tell you from what I already know, the Silent King is the fucking chat of Necrons. I mean, yeah, there's many interesting characters in Necrons, like Trazin, for example, but Silent King is a fucking chat and badass, and even recently he actually I'm not gonna talk about this much, but basically he went to, at some point after awakening this 60 millions more or less years into future, he went into the expedition into the deep space, etc., to find a way to bring his race, the Necrons, to their flesh bodies, because all Necrons, maybe not all, but basically the aim of Necrons is to become flesh and mortals once again, because the life of the automaton is a nightmare for them, etc., and they didn't know what they are into before they become, etc., common Warhammer stuff. And yeah, but in a deep space he actually found, maybe not found, he came into, he got some information about the Tyranids, the Leviathan hive fleet coming into galaxy, so he came back to stop them, because actually Necrons might be the only ones who can stop the Tyranids, but because they are they are all metal, and Tyranids are all about eating biomass, and metal isn't really a biomass. But I guess I'm getting too much into it, so let's proceed.
Waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Wanted to unite
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy...
Yeah, I think Bricky skipped him here a little. I'm not sure exactly, because I've been talking while he's talking, but I think he skipped that War in Heaven is actually a pretty wide stuff, because he missed that in the first place, the moment where Old Ones became the part of this war, like all this war began before because Curtains wanted to conquer the galaxy and devour all the stars inside it, but at the same time the Old Ones were already the Imperium that owned of the galaxy, and they said, hell no, this is ours, what the fuck, dude. If we are gonna give you all the stars, all the energy, we are gone. Hell no. So Curtains began the war against Old Ones, and Old Ones tricked the Necrons and used them to help them to destroy the Old One. Curtains tricked the Necrons to destroy the Old Ones, but Old Ones didn't actually want to be destroyed, and they still haven't become fully immortal and psychic in the Immaterium, in the warp, so they created Eldaris and Krorks to fight the Necrons. And I'm gonna skip this a little, but after the Necrons were destroyed, so basically they went into the slumber in their tomb wars, in their pyramids, in their churches, not really, but their sanctuaries. Everyone thought they are gone, so Eldaris became the new rulers of the galaxy, because in the meantime Old Ones became practically destroyed the world, and they became just another part of the warp that was later slowly consumed by the ruinous powers of the chaos. So yeah, Eldaris became like the solely rulers of the galaxy, and Krogs who were the in the high school you would call them jocks because they weren't really that smart. I mean, they were way smarter than orcs currently, but they were solely meant for a brutal force to overpower enemies with the forces, with the manpower, with the physical strength, and they have been created with the implementing for them to thrive for a battle. Like the only purpose in their lives was to battle all the time. And after the Necrons were gone, the Eldaris became the sole rulers. They became like, oh hell, we've got no enemies. Okay, it's like this. Few millennia passed. Okay, this is not gonna end up well. I have to kill something. I have to fight. What gonna do? What gonna do? And they started fight each other and other races of the galaxy, primitive or not. And yeah, slowly they degraded from the badass crocs who would like whoop space marines in the secret bit in the single second to orcs and basically greenskins we see now. So let's go back to the video. We are 8 minutes and we still got like 22 left. Fuck.
Galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the war in heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets.
He skipped a little, but just like I said, the Necrons saw that have seen that they are overpowered, that they cannot do shit actually anymore. They will lose completely, so they went to the slumber and just to wait out their enemies.
Until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years, and
yeah, it's actually hard to say how long because yeah, just like he said in the beginning and I later said, this takes part 60 millions past in the lore and we are currently, so yeah, you can count this war in heaven as 60 millions BC and we are in over 40,000 AD, so yeah, some time that took, and for most of the time the humanity event wasn't there. Like Warhammer doesn't change anything there. Humanity comes only like 2 million years in the past, around, you know, the Archaeopithec, etc.
and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race. The warp gets a little wacky.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Korn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either, but you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine.
Yeah, just like what I said. After old ones were gone, the world became a complete mess because no one would take care of it anymore. No one would clean the stuff, and basically it became all full with the psychic stuff, but this psychic stuff also included all the messy, crappy things like the pain, the how to say it, the plural of scary, just the fear of the sentient species that would be present in the warp. It's kind of tricky thing to say which are the present or and which are not. So yeah, basically the warp from the kids pool became a complete garbage, a swamp, a crab dump, etc. So yeah, it became completely chaotic, completely hazardous, and all the worst crap has been born from it. Like, I don't know. Oh, in the Middle Ages on Earth, in the medieval cities, you had like, I'm not sure the English word for it, but the place where you would dump all the crap taken from the streets, like, you know, the uh, the buckets full of uh, physical remnants, all the rotten stuff, all the shit, basically. Yeah, that was basically shit, and you would dump it all there, and basically that's what became the warp, like the source of all the illness, the evil intent, the worms, insects, etc.
Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now entering that kid.
Yeah, like basically all gods came to life because of the fear, and like Khorne because people were feared of. Okay, I'm saying people, but I'm not meaning by that only the humankind, because then there was no humankind, but I mean all the sentient beings present in the warp. Yeah, but by people today, I mean the people, the beings present in the warp. So yeah, Khorne came to life because people were afraid of dying in the battle, the war, the bloodshed, etc. The Nurgle came to life because people were afraid about the sickness, the illness, the rot, etc. And the Tzeentch because people were afraid of changes. Like, you know, for you this may be be afraid of change of your I don't know, workplace. Like, you may want to change the workplace, but you are scared about this. Like, oh no, I know my current boss is a suck up. He steals from my payment. He doesn't treat me well, etc. But what if? And I know that in my possible future job, they offer me pretty good wages. That I would get more income for less work, etc. But what if it's not like that? What if I end up even worse? And yeah, crap like that. So yeah, for you this may sound pretty stupid, like what you would be scared for, to some flu, to some change of workplace, just grew up. But you gotta remember that it consists of really from the lowest type of fears, like the being uncomfortable. Sorry, I think I'm getting a little tipsy. I'm gonna use Tzeentch as an example. It gets from the very bottom, like being uncomfortable about switching from old pen to the new one. Okay, let's go with that. From the old pen to the new one, to the way fucking higher stuff, like, I don't know, countries starting a war with each other and living close to the border and not knowing what may end up next. If you're gonna live under the other country after the war. And okay, actually, I guess I can't use that scene just as a good example, but yeah, it goes from the really low stuff to the really big stuff. Oh yeah, not Gracie, better example is like going from the liter flu to the some plague, like Black Death plague, you know. Yeah, so it gets pretty big at some point, and it consists of all the present in the world beings. So like it's year 2024, we have like around 8 billion of people here, but we are talking about the whole galaxy, so I don't even know the number of the beings that make it here.
Kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Eldars. The age of
the Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the orcs, but they're busy right now.
I guess you are going to
the Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or...
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's going right now because, yeah, Eldars came to life as a psyker race, and Krogs came to life as a melee race, like the fighting race. But I'm not sure why he's mentioning right now the Imperium of Mankind, like at least with the animations he put in the background, and the psykers, because psykers are the part of the humankind, the Imperium of Man stuff, but they came to life pretty late into the golden age of technology, so I'm not sure if he's skipping a little too much now.
Reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the Nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the Nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between reality.
Okay, so he's going to talk about Webway. Okay, fine.
It's not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the...
Yeah, Eldar is basically mate wasn't a creator's mate. So yeah, like old ones created the warp. the Eldaris, to avoid the Hell of Warp, created the Webway, which works basically in the same way, but like on a lesser scale, let's say. Like you can compare this to the railways of the Europe, like the old ones created the railways of the Europe, and the Eldaris created, like, I don't know, the subway of London. Yeah, something like that.
The warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The
hell yeah.
empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread
didn't
all
mess
the
around.
way until now, the 21st century. That's right, while you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Okay, Rise of Humanity, that's a big loop. So yeah, you can even say it's from like 50 million years ago to the 20,000 years now. But I guess he's skipping now to the golden age of humanity.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here and existed between the 21st century.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Before the golden age of technology was, of course, I guess you can call that the second age of discovery, and basically the time where Terra, so basically the humankind, became the space civilization, and they started colonizing planets and worlds all around the Milky Way galaxy, and they then created the first imperium of humankind and some kind of Star Trek Federation, not exactly, but in some way, and then it became the golden age of humanity.
All the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up,
honestly,
sought
there
the
is not much
stars.
to
It's
say about
classic.
this as
Then
well.
came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to
the
some,
golden age of
the
technology.
dark age of technology.
Dark Age is called now after the rebellion of the Men of Iron, the Age of Strife, when the Slanesh was born, but normally it should be counted as the golden age of technology, because basically most, even up to the all of technology currently used by the humanity in the 40k millennium was created then. Like practically everything the humans use now was developed and implemented back then, and just and there is a mistake technology, but the age should be after never mind. And also, if you know about the Warhammer 40k universe, I guess you know about the Titans, you know? The Titans actually became, the Knights as well, but mostly Titans, came to life during the golden age of humanity, where humans were more or less the ruling race of galaxy for the first time. Now, Titans are pretty low in numbers. Like, there are several legions of Titans. In the first place, they have to be divided into legions, but they are like from dozens to few hundreds, like, I don't know, 200-300 in the legion. But back then, each colony had several errands. Each colony had several Titans for them own to protect their planet, like, you know, the local main artillery force. They were titans. So imagine this having over millions of planets with, and each one was not only protected by, I don't know, orbital artillery, by spaceships, by really advanced armies, but also by fucking titans. And yeah, I mentioned the knights. Imperial knights actually weren't made for the fight at the beginning, but okay, I'm stealing from the main.
This is
main
when
stuff.
humanity reached a new age.
Knights weren't really made for the fights. You can even see that when you are building an army of the knights. But basically, knights were firstly made for the working stuff, like, you know, mining, transporting heavy stuff, etc. And only later, I think only around the Great Crusade and later, they became like the staple for the forces, like up the dreadnoughts under the titans to join. And when you build Imperial Knights, actually you can see that their armors, their weapons aren't really well suited for them. They are more like changed and upgraded to suit the Imperial Knights main build, main core. So yeah, they were simply swapped from being the labor force to the fighting force.
Apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess
basically,
that fringed on magic.
steroids.
This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. And this was truly,
which has to be mentioned that most of the colonies that humans would enter were already established by men of iron. So basically the automatons created to travel into the space of the Milky Way galaxy to find planets and start building colonies even centuries before the human colonies would enter this place, to terraform, to build colonies, etc.
the golden age of humanity. And with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
debauchery.
Debauchery! Debauchery!
Games of Thrones.
What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess.
Okay, I guess I can stop here. Yeah, he is basically talking about the downfall of the Eldar Empire because, yeah, just like I said, the Eldaris were the galaxy-spanning empire. They had plenty of really well-developed planets. They were really advanced with the technology. They had everything they may ever wanted to. But because of that, they didn't really know what to do anymore. So they really fell into the lowest parts of desire, from the simply stuff like art, etc., to the kinky stuff, to the gore stuff, and basically because of that, the fourth chaos god, that is Slanesh, came to life and it wrecked the galaxy.
With the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous.
Yeah, the main port of all the Eldaris, debauchery and deterioration, so also a capital of Drukaris. And who knows what Drukaris are? Those knows, but those who don't know, they are like the... If you ever played Elder Scrolls, imagine the Dark Elves completely stoked with the skooma, without any more restraints, who just want to have the most possible fun of torturing yourself as possible. Basically, these are the Drukaris and the Komora.
Acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity.
If you don't know what I'm mentioning, remember what I said already about Khorne, Siege, and Nurgle, and now you can imagine what exactly the desire here may mean. Like, from the desire for a bar of chocolate to the really fucking fucked up stuff like the desire to skin. You know what? I'm not even gonna mention this. Like, the worst kind of desire you may think of is actually the lowest part of what the Slanesh may think of.
Humanity. Slanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic...
I mean, the birth of the Chaos God is pretty big stuff. Like, you can compare this to the tsunami wave, but in the warp. So yeah, it basically wrecked completely all the Sea of Souls, which is the Immaterium, and yeah, it was really a stroll on that.
AI rebellion is a staple in these sci-fi settings. Humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well,
I'm not sure if he's gonna say it, but also I'm not sure if this is canon or just a fun theory, but some say that the rebellion of Men of Iron, so basically the rebellion of AI against humanity, became because some of the Men of Iron automatons became corrupted by the Chaos forces, especially due to the birth of Slanesh, because honestly I'm not sure about this, whether what was first, the rebellion of Men of Iron or the birth of Slanesh, but basically some people say that the rebellion came because some Men of Irons became corrupted by Chaos. They later influenced all other automatons, and thus this way became all the fight which brought the first human empire to its knees. Yeah, like that.
you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know,
basically golden age of humanity starts around, okay, let's be generous, around 80,000 years, ends at 25,000 years, when the Age of Men of Iron Rebellion and the birth of Slanesh thing happening. And yeah, we have around 5,000. Yeah, I'm really getting tipsy from the drink, and I have to say to you, it's pretty finished, like the last gulp I have. Okay, let me finish that. Yeah, and my drink is gone, and yeah, this is the 5,000 years break period where most of the colonies are completely cut off one from each other. The whole stuff happens like the humanity colonies being raided by the alien forces, they fall to chaos, etc. They develop by themselves for the most of times, and only then, after 5,000 years, the emperor finishes the unification wars on Terra and starts his great crusade.
Began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from aliens.
Yeah, like what I said before, the Imperial Knights became the weapons actually. Like they were meant for the manual labor, but because of the need, they became the forces of the army.
And demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as Night Worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on.
Just I mentioned, Mars actually was under terraforming by then, So yeah, the Age of Strife really fucked this up, and now Mars is basically what we see the Mars now, but with the high tech religious zealotry.
On the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the red planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra,
Okay, another spoiler, and a big spoiler, but I don't think he's gonna mention this. The god of Mechanicus, the Omnissiah, is actually a messiah. I'm not sure if this is... I cannot remember the official name of the god of Mechanicus, but yeah, the machine god actually exists, and he's or rather it is a curtain that was trapped by the Emperor and put under the Mars. So yeah, it exists. It's a fucking curtain that stayed alive even though there were in heaven stuff, and it influenced the people on Mars to become a religious zealotry that prizes and pray to the machine.
No barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore, until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why?
He's not exactly. Like, he's a in build, he's a pretty much a common human, but simply because of his psychic aura, etc., he, for most of the people, he looks as the real big titan, real mighty, etc., but basically he's a normal human in a body. And I think the current canon says that he was born from the 1,000 shamans, yet in the primitive period, Neolithic period, who committed suicide. I'm not sure if this is not gonna be took down by YouTube now, but yeah, they basically dokied themselves no more. Thus they united themselves as the souls, and they were born as the new hyper being, the Big E, the Emperor of the mankind in the Neolithic era.
Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium.
Yeah, he created firstly the Custodies and the Thunder Warriors. The Custodies as the Elites, the Thunder Warriors as the staple units, I say. And then he got rid of the Thunder Warriors because they were completely uncontrollable. Like, they listened to his orders, they were pretty strong, they were fierce, but you never knew at which moment they would defy you and attack you. So he got rid of them before they would rebel. So yeah, I guess just some German reference, if you know history and know what I mean. But basically that, like NSDAP getting rid of the people. No, sorry, SS getting yeah, because he used custody, so like SS getting rid of the NSDAP people. something like that.
The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind with a treaty signed with the Cult Mechanicus on Mars to
Because Emperor needed Mechanicus to conquer the galaxy, and he knew that not before because the Titans he would do fine because beside the Titans, but all the stuff they could create like ship from the tanks and common vehicles on the battlefield to the ships, and ships were important for the galaxy wars. So yeah, the Mechanicum cult that was birthed on the Mars was the only one allowed to exist in the Imperium, even though he tried to create an completely atheist Imperium, because he needed them. That's the only reason. They were so important, so they were so important that he needed their help, and he really did them a favor and didn't destroy them.
spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them, 18 of them, I meant, gene-crafted sons of the
18, I'm gonna say something here. Many people wonder who are the two leftovers primarchs, because many people don't know. He created 20 sons, like the last son being the twins, so 21 actually. But yeah, there are also two missing sons that no one knows what happened to them, just they were expelled. And no one knows whether they are loyalists or traitors. Basically, it's because the GW, the Games Workshop, wanted to add some role plays into the game. Like, don't seek anything in the lore because they don't have lore, simply because Games Workshop wanted to create place for people to roleplay as the one of the primarchs. So yeah, you can become simply one of the primarchs of the second legion or the 11th legion, and just be yourself, whether loyalist or traitor or whatever. They don't have lore at all, so you can become just one of them and be whatever you want.
The strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go.
Yeah. Fuckerta he.
A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus. One of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued...
My favorite fucking legion. Yeah, I know I'm a granite players, but only because Luna Wolves are no more possible to play, because they became the Black Legion. I fucking love them. I fucking love the Horus before the heresy. He's the badass and the Primarch I love the most. But of course it had to go with that
continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel
every
Dorn,
Paramount
the
has their
Phalanx
own
with
legion.
the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very
Predator.
angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim, the perfect with his Emperor's
Really?
children.
That's
And
Predator.
Jagatai Khan, the swift, the stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18,
Yes, that's
and
right.
one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them.
Yeah,
The
Vulcan,
Great
Gilliman,
Crusade
Bertrand,
saw
yeah.
humanity
Yeah,
once
very-
again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Yeah, Horus has been tricked, then killed, then brought
Horus,
to life
the
again,
Emperor's
but
most
already
beloved and
chaos
favored
corrupted,
sons,
and
named
he
War
fell
Master for the
pretty bad.
Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy
Yeah,
issues,
sorry, I'm
all
gonna
because of
speak
that
English
bastard
right
Erebus.
now.
Yo, fuck
Oh, fuck
Erebus.
Erebus.
Slowly,
Fuck
Horus would
Erebus.
become corrupted.
Erebus is a fucking bitch. Not only what he made during the Horus heresy, like because of him, the Interrex race has been destroyed completely, but simply because he is a bitch. Even between chaos cultists, he is a fucking motherfucking bitch. He is a complete crap, the complete worst shit possible. Like back to the Angron Toll, Argon Toll, who he stabbed in the back and killed, etc. He is a fucking crap, and I hate him completely. And what I hate the most is that he completely feels for the chaos corrupted character. Yeah. The part I hate about him the most is how well he suits his character.
Turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the
He basically wanted to... I'm gonna skip a little. He wanted to do what Eldaris made. He wanted to join the Webway project, to join the Webway, and transfer all of the humanity from the Materium and Immaterium to the Webway, to completely cut off them from the chaos, from the Immaterium, and make them safe into the Webway.
the Eldar to make faster than light travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into
Yeah, just recently the Ridiculous have released a video about Thousand Sons, and they made a joke that Magnus did nothing wrong. He was told to do nothing, and he did it wrong. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna talk about this more, but yeah, the 40k stuff is pretty dense, pretty broad, and we are already well long into the stream.
to that, literally
I'm
and
gonna talk about
figuratively.
this later.
So Big E over there is stuck
In
on a
some streams, in the
gigantic
future.
golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The
And
Horus
probably there
Heresy
is some
saw
tyrants
many
targeted
loyalist and
the
traitor
Milky Way.
legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he
Yeah, because you have to remember, during the Horus Heresy, the traitorous forces were pretty big, pretty forcey, but they still didn't really pose that much threat. Like, they couldn't do much yet, actually. So they yeah, Horus was a pretty dire spot, even though he was supported by all the four highest gods, etc. And the only reason he won against the Emperor, because it's not really a win, but you can, let's say he won against the Emperor, was because the Emperor went easy on him. Like, Emperor didn't even consider him a real threat. He didn't consider him as more than a plaything that simply went out of control.
Teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of
in the full force, since most of the Primarchs were all away, like the Ras, like the Gilliman, they weren't even present during the battle because of stuff that happened in the lore.
his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said,
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul.
Yeah, not really. Maybe you haven't read it yet, but few months ago was released the third book of the what was it said? The oh shit, I don't remember. Basically the recent book, the Death and the Death and something, when Emperor says I forgive you and I wait you. So he basically changed the GWs changed the Horus from being completely burned and destroyed his souls from to the Horus will be back, and he will be back as a loyalist because he will be back to the Emperor. I'm really telling it short, but yeah, it's basically like that. The GW officially implied that they want to bring Horus back, and what's more, they want to bring him back as a loyalist.
Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power
then he
the
became the
Astronomicon,
Emperor.
because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his
Yeah, the
wounds
corpse
and the
emperor.
strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000.
Still 5 minutes ago. What is he going to?
The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a
Empire became
deity
completely
despite him
not
never
what
wanting
Emperor
to be
wanted
seen
it
as
to
a
be.
god. Over the span of 1 million worlds,
Like
the
Zero 3
ecclesiarchy,
completely
the
corrupted
church
stuff.
of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of
Not really. Actually, when you are an Inquisitor, you really need to take care of yourself, because if you don't manage it well, you can go down really quickly. Not because you lack influence or something, simply because you don't possess enough power you may think you have. Like, if as Inquisitor you tell something to do to the Space Marine, the Space Marine might simply blast you off. Or if you tell the, I don't know, the general of the army of the Astra Militarum being surrounded by Astra Militarum forces, they may simply get rid of you, because if they don't get rid of you, the general will get rid of them. So yeah, they don't actually possess as much map. Okay, they possess almost infinite power on paper, but in practice it's pretty different.
Of heresy or lack of devotion to their god emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as chaos space marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat.
I love how he completely didn't mention Tau and leaks of Wotan. What the fuck?
From the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their
He
worlds.
doesn't even consider them a threat.
The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head.
Yeah, because the Imperium already got rid of all the Xenos that would coexist with the humanity, excluding Tau, and the only ones left are orcs that simply want to fight, the tyrannids that want to devour, and the Eldaris that think of humans are nothing but primitive bastards who would better be destroyed, not to feed the chaos anymore.
Ahead. There is no time for these
and
things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death.
I mean, yeah, some of their foods is at the level where the British cooks would tell you are a master chef, but besides that, even buying living in the Imperium of Mankind in the 40k universe is damn.
Death. And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad, every faction is some shade of evil.
Yes, space commies are
because playing the bad guys is always more fun, and my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun, soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Already.
That do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that.
Okay, so yeah, okay, let's not talk about this last minute. I'm not sure. Okay, fuck. Yeah, it's a reaction video. Let's get it to the last.
Setting with a Warhammer
end.
coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but
okay, these are
Warhammer.
the
It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new
series, okay.
people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission
Okay, I'm gonna
Impossible,
leave that,
but
yeah,
Warhammer.
I find that
Bloodlines
this
is
is
Blade
important
Runner,
because you
but
can now
Warhammer.
see
And the list goes on
books
and
and
on.
novels
If
that
I
are
had to
pretty
recommend
much
a brand new
important to
novel
read.
for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's.
I'm gonna give you some personal advice. Infinite and the Divine, they are cool, but they are mostly like the funny stuff to read. Like it's mostly the comedy, nothing much about the lore, more about the comedy and the protagonists. Caiaphas Cain, it's a good book, especially you should start with the Hero of the Imperium. Pretty good, about one of the best commissars of the mankind. I can agree, but Horus Rising, starting of the Horus Heresy is pretty common thing for most of the people interested into the Warhammer 40k universe now, but it also tricky because the books aren't really quite consistent and in order, which I mean that you can read stuff, then you can go into way more past, like how for example in the Fulgrim book, when you are in the 4th book, Fulgrim book is the 5th one. In the 4th book you are after the bombardment on Istvan III, after the escape of the Eisenstein, and then in the 5th book you are back to before the heresy and to the Fulgrim, how they became heresy. So yeah, they in the Horus Heresy book consists of like over 60 fucking different books, which many of them consist of like retrospections. So yeah, it's pretty tricky to start, and basically also means that it doesn't really matter at which point you start reading the books. Just be sure to start at the beginning of the series, because there are so many different series, so many broad series that talk about different stuff that it doesn't really matter where you start.
Ghost and Infinite and the Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without
yeah,
needing to know too
fantastic.
much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor. Enjoy the new Sweet 6.
Yeah, we can finish him here, by the way. Yeah. Is this a shy lily in the background? Never mind. So yeah, check. Oh yeah, I guess it's Shy Lily and I don't remember his name, the Stephen Ha or something. The name of this dude. Emotional Damage. So yeah, check his merch. It was a pretty good video. Anyway, the Bricky and the whole Adeptus Tyricus is a really great thing to learn about the Warhammer 40k lore. So yeah, that would be it. Thank you for coming here and see you next time.